Hey guys, it's Jeff, and today we're talking about if you should install iOS 13 and run it on your daily drivers. So let's go ahead and talk about the risk versus reward of having iOS 13 on your device and talk about if it's worth it. Guys, go check out Clean My Mac X. It's absolutely amazing. I use it every day and I cannot say this enough. Every Mac user needs this program. So go check it out. There's a link down below with more info, and you can also go download it to try it out for yourself. Okay, so first things first, Apple posted this on their developers website. I found it very interesting because obviously they know their developers are handing iOS 13 and other beta softwares to the public, and it just clearly states, hey, if you're not a developer, you shouldn't be trying this because it is very buggy. And it also says that the public beta is coming later this month, that being June. So if you guys do want to install the public beta, it will be coming later this month. But that's neither here nor there. The install process after seeing that note kind of led me to believe that everything was not going to be as smooth as possible. I chose to install via macOS 10.15 Catalina. Do not update to that if you want to save your Mac. It's a very buggy software. I'm not complaining, but just beware, 10.15, not the best out there. But let's get back to iOS 13. iOS 13, the install process, a little hit or miss. I was stuck in a recovery boot loop on my test device for a little while, and then I got out of that and it finally updated. So a little bit of a weird experience there, but I just wanted to let you guys know because that was a part of one of the processes for one of my phones here. Now, let's talk about the good versus the bad in iOS 13. Obviously, the good is you have a brand new UI experience. You have a lot more control over your system. In the control center, you have a lot more control over dark mode. You have control over Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and in that expanded view, everything looks very premium and nice. The speed is great. For me personally, the speed has been awesome on the iPhone XS Max. Everything seems perfect when it comes to the new features in iOS 13. You also have a lot of new wallpapers, you have a lot more functionality within certain apps, and you get updated apps as well from Apple. So all that is the good. There's tons of good to be had with iOS 13, and Apple definitely did a very good job. It's pretty tempting to update to iOS 13 when you just hear about the good. But let's talk about the bad just a little bit. I'm not trying to be biased or anything. These are just the bad things that I have been experiencing on iOS 13. And I know this might not be the case for everyone. I just wanted to let you guys know what my experience has been. I have a full list here, so I'm gonna read from that. Let's start off with bugs. The UI experience. Yes, you're getting a lot of new UI here in the first beta of iOS 13, but with that new UI, it's not so streamlined right now. So the UI experience is a little bit laggy. There's lag, stutters, crashes, and several hangups in apps. Now, as far as lags and stutters go, those are with third-party apps. So those aren't specifically with Apple apps. There are some Apple apps that have some lags and stutters, but for the most part, it's with third-party apps. And obviously that's because these third parties have not updated their apps to work with iOS 13. Now, in regards to the several hangups, I've actually gotten quite a few in the settings app. So that kind of old bug with the settings app where it kind of just hangs up upon opening it. Yes, that is back in iOS 13. And then some other third-party apps, it is hanging up, especially in apps like Ulysses. I'll talk about that in just a second. Now, the second thing I had to say, like UI experience, kind of laggy sometimes, kind of stuttering, but for the most part, very fast. But the battery life is the second one. Now, I did a test that shows loss of battery life over iOS 12.3.1. Obviously, yesterday I was using iOS 13 a lot, so battery life is not going to be that great. But on the test device we have here, we actually ran a battery test, not actually using the phone, just a battery test, and the battery life was a little bit less. So I'm not personally complaining, but a lot of you might if you install this onto your daily driver and you have a loss of battery life and you can't get throughout the day. So that's one thing to think about. Now let's move on to some of the apps that have issues. Now the first app that I had an issue with was Ulysses. It's a writing app. It actually takes like 30 plus seconds to open, but after that it's fully functional. So just keep that in mind. Some apps will be kind of slow to load up, might not work at all. I don't really know. Tesla. If you own a Tesla, the app lags quite a bit. I'm not sure why, but the Tesla app does lag It's fully functional though, so if you do need to use that, I know people who have a Model 3 use their phone as their main device. If you have a Tesla Model 3 and you use your phone as your key, maybe not the best idea to be updating to iOS 13. Just a quick thought. The Files app, more specifically with iPadOS, and then as well, even in iOS 13, we have, it's fully functional, but some functions don't work, and it kind of like is on and off, the functions that is. Exporting is kind of hit or miss. I could sometimes export to, like photos and everything like that, but sometimes it doesn't even show up. And yeah, that's just the state of the Files app. The phone app, I have had 2 drop calls on the phone app, and I just wanted to let you know that has happened. I'm not saying that will happen with everyone, but I have had two drop calls, and it wasn't that big of a deal. I just called them right back. But for some people, that's just not acceptable. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is kind of my overall experience weighing the good versus the bad, and if you should be downloading this onto a daily driver. Now, honestly, in my opinion, I love seeing new versions of iOS. I've had iOS 12 since this time of last year, so I've definitely been waiting quite a while to get a brand new UI experience. Now, with that, the UI experience has been great. There's a ton of new features. There's a ton of new UI here. There's just a lot to look at with iOS 13, especially with the new wallpapers. We have dark mode, which is absolutely stunning. I have that set to automatically go up and down or on and off with the sunset and sunrise. So that's a really cool experience. And overall, I'm just loving it. But then you have the bad, the lags, the stutters, the battery life, which may be poor or not. You don't know. Everyone's device is different. Honestly, in my opinion, if I were you and I had a daily driver device, I'd wait until the public beta later this month, simply because Apple has stated that it will be coming later this month in June. That is an official statement from Apple, and it's not so sure right now with the beta 1 of iOS 13. There's still a lot of unknown factors involved. Your favorite apps could not work. And as I said, if you own a Tesla and you use your phone as your key for your Tesla Model 3, that may be a huge issue if the Tesla app does not work. So guys, yeah, that is my opinion for all of you guys. A lot of you are asking, should I wait until the public beta? I think it's always advised to wait for the public beta. It's a lot less buggy. Apple clearly put out a statement that this software is going to be buggy and that you should just wait if you don't want that experience. So guys, wait until the public beta if you can. If you can't wait for the public beta and you just have to have your hands on this new software and get all of the new features, I'll have a link down below on how to get it and kind of my install process. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'd be more than happy to answer like which apps work, what works, what doesn't, and kind of my own personal experience more in depth in the comment section. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to stay up to date with all iOS 13 content and kind of all the betas as we move along the beta process, go ahead, get subscribed, and also hit the bell button to get updates as soon as any of that content is released. So guys, thanks again for watching the video, and hopefully I'll be seeing you in some upcoming content. Peace.